Alright, so here's my drawing. And we've got to find the area.
Yes.
Alright. So IN means inches. And of course I didn't actually measure this in inches. I mean, this is inches right here, right? So like, I mean, 12 inches is the length of this ruler here. So obviously this is not 20 inches, but it's just a representation, right? And it's not drawn very well, but that's okay. What I want y'all to do is think about, why don't we take this figure and try to split it into two separate rectangles. So there's basically two ways of dealing with a shape like that, right? You could split it like that, and then you can get this area and this little area up here. Or the other way of doing it is you could split it like that and get this area here and then this area here. Does that make sense? So basically we're going to split it into two separate rectangles, get the area of each, and then add them. So which one do you want to do? It doesn't matter.
Let's do this one.
The one on the left?
Sure.
Okay, alright. So let's just do an imaginary line across like that, and let's try to figure out you know, this area of this rectangle, and then we'll figure out the area of this rectangle. Okay? So to get the area of this red rectangle here, we need the width and the length, or length and width, or one side and the other side, and you just multiply them, right? So remember, area is measured in square inches, and like what's a square inch? Well, here's a ruler, right? And this line is 1 inch across. That's 1 inch. And then let me make a line that's 1 inch down. Okay, it's like that. That's 1 inch down. That's 1 inch. Okay, and now I'm going to make this a square. So this actually is in fact 1 square inch. Okay, because it's a square and it's an inch on each side. And this is a unit for measuring area. You could use this to see how many square inches is this calculator, right? Or how many square inches is the area of this phone. Like it's about, let's say it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 square inches. You see what I mean? So that's what we're looking at. Now, of course, this is not to scale, but like in our thing, like a square inch is kind of like if this is 8, then this little square would represent 1 square inch, wouldn't it? That little guy, that'd be like 1 square inch. That make sense?
Yes.
And we've probably talked about this, but like if you had something like this, if this was actually let me just, sorry, I can't help myself. I'm sorry, I'm just going on too much, but look, I'm just going to do it. Look, 1, 2, 3 inches. Okay, and then let's go down. 1, 2 inches. That's 3 times 2. We probably went over this already, but why don't we do it? Remind you again. But look, that's 3 inches. That's 2 inches. That's 3 inches. See that? That's 2 inches. Like that. Now, how many square inches are in that? How many squares that are each 1 inch by 1 inch across? 1 inch. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 6 in there. The area that we all agree is 6 square inches. Now, did I multiply? I didn't multiply. I made it into a grid. But the quick way to do that would be to do what?
To
multiply. You just go 2 inches times 3 inches. Now, 2 times 3 makes 6. And funny enough, inch times inch makes inch squared. Isn't that funny? It's a little math symbolism there. And that inch squared actually means square inches. How funny is that? So there you go. That's area. But back to here, we have 20 here and 8 here. So take your time. Press pause on the video. What's the area of the red rectangle here? Take your time. So indeed, you might think you got to multiply, and that's correct. 8 times 0 is 0. Carry 1, or no, don't carry anything. What am I talking about? 8 times 2 is 16. 160. So this is 160 square inches, which is represented like this. IN with a little square. That's a square inch. 160 square inches, right? Now, the next thing is this purple rectangle. And take your time and press pause on the video and see if you can figure out the area of the purple rectangle. There's one little trick in there. So the trick with the purple rectangle, if you guys haven't got it yet, is look, this distance here, that's 6 inches on the purple rectangle. Just this one. Just this one. We've done this. Now we're just doing this. What do we need to know to figure out the area of the purple rectangle? What are we missing? Right. We need, what is this? We need to figure out what is this length here. So that's what we need. So take your time and see if you can figure out. Just I'll press pause on the video and try to. Alright, so I hope you've all pressed pause and tried it. Hopefully you've done lots of messing around and maybe even you've tried different things and you've thrown your paper away and started over. But really, all this comes down to is, like, if you have everybody watching from home, like if you have a line and that line is, let's say, 8 inches across from here to here, right? And if I told you that I'm just making this up now. If I told you that you know, this distance here is 3, then you could all tell me what this distance is, right? So if the whole thing is 8, this is 3, then this has to be 5. Simple as that. That's all I'm asking you all to do. Because look, when we go over here, this distance we can all see is 18. That's 18. From here to here, that's 18. This distance is 8. All of these lines are parallel. That means that this distance over here also has to be 8 inches. That's 8 inches. Now if that's 8, then everybody write down on paper, everybody write down what this distance is here. Like if this is 18 from the top to bottom, this is 8, you all need to know what this is. And everybody can do this. I know everyone seems to get stuck in this every term, but come on now, I know you all can do this. If this is 18, that's 8, then this has to be 10 inches. Has to be 10 inches. Make sense? Alright. So if that's 6, that's 10. This is 60 square inches. IN squared. Right?
Gotcha. So then you add...
So if we add them, our 160 square inches with our 60 square inches, we get the total area.
220.
Right. 220 square inches. INS square inches. Now, the other way of doing this was, that was 6 inches. And again, I'm not drawing this perfectly well. But you must know that these lines are parallel and all that. This is a bit lower. It goes across. This was 8 inches. This was 20 inches. So the other way of doing it was to block this off, and we'll call that the red area, and we'll call this the purple area. So if anyone was doing it this way, or if anyone wants to, why not press pause on the video and try to figure out what's the area of this rectangle and what's the area of this one. And then we'll add these together and we'll get also 220, same thing, right? So that means if we start with the red, let's start with this red one. We already know that it's 8 on this side, but we need to figure out the length of this side, correct? What is this length here? That's the trick. So take your time and figure that out. Everyone watching from home, just press pause on the video. And right. So I hope you all press pause and tried it, because this distance across here, that is 20. That's 20. This is 6, which would be the same as this distance here. This would be 6, wouldn't it? Because this is parallel. So if it's 20 all the way across and this is 6, 20 all the way across and this is 6, then this little distance here has to be 14 inches, right? And so the red rectangle is 14 times 8. 14 inches times 8 inches. 8 4 is 32, carry 2, 1 8 is 8 and 3. Carry 3. 1 8 is 8 and 3 is 11. So that's 112 IN squared, square inches. 112 square inches, right? Now on to the purple rectangle. The purple, what's the area of the purple? Take your time. So that just has a length of 18, and this is 6, right? So it'll be just 18 times 6, wouldn't it? 6 8 is 48, carry 4, 1 6 is 6 and 4 is 10. So that's 108 square inches, inches squared, right? So we take our purple area and our purple area and our red area, we add them together, and that will give our total. So 10 carry 1, that's a 2, and that's a 2. So 220 square inches, and that looks familiar. So look at that. It was 220 last time when we split it this way, and it's 220 this way. So there's two ways to solve the same problem, right?